The story of ambiguity. So, as you know, humans are programmed to be storytellers. Ever since people sat around the campfire and told stories about, hunting and, they had hieroglyphics and caves. And we've always been a society that relates to stories. That's why people love movies. Um, there's something about storytelling that's hardwired into us as a species. Advertising is basically like storytelling, especially if it's done well. It kind of gets into our subconscious and it makes us feel, emotions or desires. And some people are saying that the storytelling of today is related to ambiguity. I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot of different aspects of that in case that may be true, such that like what is political. There's a lot of uh, back and forth in terms of like what is true. Is something fake news? Disagreements on policy, that are heightened, and is capitalism, good? Is it broken? Does it need to be fixed? Alternatives. There's a lot more nuance and there's a lot more alternatives. Some people are calling it post-truth, with deep fakes. Some people are calling it just like multiverse in terms of like opinions. Like it used to be that Walter Cronkite, told the news. There was only 3 broadcast stations, but now everyone's a blogger. Everyone on Twitter has an opinion. Everybody on YouTube. I did a recent podcast about this. I mentioned that even on ESPN, it's not much reporting. If you look at the videos on ESPN, they all say this player is better than this player. This team should do this. They all comment on players and also their personal behavior. It's a lot, and I talked about that as a notion of context. Like in an information age, we look to see not only what's happening but what things mean. So in terms of the storytelling of ambiguity, it's interesting that it used to things. Perhaps some people would argue one repercussion of that is that there's a lot more gray. That things used to be more black and white. In some sense, in terms of like. When you want to think of values or norms, and now it's kind of like more alternative ideas, alternative lifestyles, alternative choices. It's kind of like a huge menu. It's like if you go to Facebook and Facebook groups, you can identify with, like millions and millions and millions of different groups based upon your interests or whatever you identify with. So there's kind of like people are set in what they want to some degree because like they say that we live increasingly in echo chambers as society. We resonate to what we resonate to and we gravitate towards what we resonate to. But beyond that, in the larger context, there seems to be a lot of ambiguity in the sense of like, is this real? Is this real? How do we decide what's more important? How do we form consensus? How do we move things forward? Is that possible? So again, some people believe that one of the major memes or storytelling themes of the modern world as we live in today is ambiguity.